take the 7 kingdoms without turning it into a slaughterhouse. If the great houses support your claim against Cersei, the game is won. With the Tyrell army and the Dornish on our side, we have powerful allies in the south.
I never properly thanked you for that.
They joined our side, my queen, because they believe in you.
You served my father, didn't you, Lord Varys?
I did.
And then you served the man who overthrew him.
I had a choice, Your Grace. Serve Robert Baratheon or face the headman's axe.
But you didn't serve him long. You turned against him.
Robert was an improvement on your father, to be sure. There have been few rulers in history as cruel as the Mad King. Robert was neither mad nor cruel. He simply had no interest in being king.
So you took it upon yourself to find a better one?
Your Grace, when I was ready to drink myself into a small coffin, Lord Varys told me about a queen in the east.
Before I came to power, you favored my brother. All your spies. Your little birds. Did they tell you Viserys was cruel, stupid, and weak? Would those qualities have made for a good king, in your learned opinion?
Until your marriage to Khal Drogo, Your Grace, I knew nothing about you save your existence and that you were said to be beautiful.
So you and your friends traded me like a prize horse to the Dothraki?
Which you turned to your advantage.
Who gave the order to kill me?
King Robert.
Who hired the assassins? Who sent word to Essos to murder Daenerys Targaryen?
Your Grace, I did what had to be done
to keep yourself alive.
Lord Varys has proven himself a loyal servant.
Proven himself loyal, quite the opposite. If he dislikes one monarch, he conspires to crown the next one. What kind of servant is that?
The kind the realm needs.
We are the Watchers on the Couch. We are the voice of the guide, the realms of men. We are the Night's Watch. And welcome back to the Night's Watch, your source for Game of Thrones recap. I am your host, Kal the Kingslayer. And alongside me, as always, I have Lord Tom and Lady Kimber of House Odd Shape Channel.
How's it going, guys?
So we got a great episode, in my opinion. We're going to get into that. But just your overall thoughts right away. What you think of the after a kind of slow-paced setup episode? What you think?
I enjoyed it. Not my favorite episode, but you know, I had fun with it. What did you think?
I liked it a lot. They definitely got a lot of stuff done in this episode. We're starting to feel like the pace quicken with the shorter season and the winding down of the show for sure. Like that happened could have been like the big main event of prior seasons, but it's the second episode and they're already like moving from one place to another so quickly just to get the plot forward to get to the end of the story. And I dig that a lot. So there were moments I really liked in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought Tom would like it a lot better because there's a lot of politics. Like, he likes a lot of the aspect of Game of Thrones. So I really thought you'd like this more. But I mean, I think it was a good episode, and I agree with Kimber. Like, there's a lot of now fast pace is going on, and we're getting towards the end, like you're saying. So it's gonna be interesting to see where all that goes, and we're gonna be at quite the pace. But before we get into all that, we need to acknowledge some people. First, as always, we have our great title card, thanks to Janine at Janine Devine. And our theme song, thanks to Shreepal at Shreeps Music. So please check them out. We'll have our title card at the end, our social media card at the end, so you guys can get a look at where to find them. Another person that we'd acknowledge is, remember, the new segment that we're doing is called Take the Black. So the thing where if you buy the shirt that Janine has designed at G9 Designs, and you take a picture of yourself in it, we'll feature you on the show. So our second sworn brother, the Night's Watch, has pledged his oath. And it is Eric. So as you guys all know, Eric, he's going to be up on later on the show. We thank him for supporting our show as well as Janine. So you'll see him a little bit later. And he's got cool project that he's been working on. I'm sure you guys have been checking it out. We've been retweeting it a lot and all that stuff. So please continue to support Janine and us by getting a shirt if you can. And just, just follow our stuff. Follow us on Twitter and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. The next thing I want to get to, another person to acknowledge is Heather again for submitting fan art. So here's another fan art she submitted. And she did a nice thing of Khal Drogo right here. So this is the next.
She's talented.
I'm glad I got into the show, and she does a lot of Star Wars and all that, like princess and Disney stuff. But when I got into her Game of Thrones, she started doing a lot of Game of Thrones stuff. So I'm excited to show that off, and I'm thankful that she's actually sharing that with us. In a few weeks, I'll show another one that she's done, and hopefully she does more since then. But I guess we'll see. One new segment I did want to do before we get on with the recap is we'd like to, acknowledge some people who have name days. So the Night's Watch would like to wish a happy name day first and foremost to Kimber's mom. Kimber's mom's birthday is, I think, today.
Aww.
So happy name day to Kimber's mom, as well as I hope I'm not sure if Janine's here, but she watches it later. It's her dog Lexi's birthday. So happy birthday, Lexi, as well. So happy name day from the Night's Watch.
Yeah, my mom actually does love Game of Thrones, so she's gonna love this when I tell her about it. And she's a Leo, so it's almost like
we're meant to be
Lannister.
Yes, she's part of my house. Okay, so I guess we're gonna get right into the the recap of the show. So overall, you guys, you did enjoy the show, and I mean, I think Tom wasn't as impressed as we were, but I mean. I think it was a good overall episode. Stormborn, and we're gonna talk about an interesting theory Tom had about Stormborn when talking earlier on Twitter, because Stormborn is a name given to Daenerys because she was born on a stormy night in Dragonstone. But we always say for Game of Thrones episodes, there's a lot. These episodes can be refer to more than one person, the titles, or more than one thing. So we're gonna get into that in a little while. So we start out in Dragonstone on a stormy night, just like the night that Daenerys was born, and Daenerys is with her closer council, Varys, Tyrion, and Grey Worm, her protector, and they are just talking about her birth and kind of this is where she kind of confronts Varys about her brother's ambition and then Varys' loyalty and the assassination attempts. And Tyrion attempts to vouch for Varys, but she's still not hearing it. She wants to hear it straight from the horse's mouth or from Varys, right? Because she's unconvinced by what the support Tyrion shows for Varys. And this is kind of funny because Varys actually does show like he has balls in a way by speaking out against her, right? He's like saying, listen, like I did what I had to do for the kingdom. That's what I've always done. I've always served the people. I never served a ruler. I served the people, and I'm a people's person. So he did kind of stand up for her, and Dany kind of like admires that. And then she has this thing where she says, swear me this oath where if you ever see me not ruling well, instead of plotting behind my back, say it to my face like you are now. And, Varys acknowledges that. And so what did you guys think of that scene where Varys like grew balls and like that little last the little oath that happened at the end?
I mean, whenever Varys has been his like loyalty has been questioned, he's always said that he serves the realm. So the fact that he's saying this to the person that he's serving now, I think also is kind of a validation of that loyalty, because he wouldn't have gone to Robert and said, I don't serve you, I serve the realm. You know what I mean? And I think Dany respected that. I also liked how Daenerys cut off Tyrion, which is like a big power play for someone whose like biggest weapon is like his words. I think both Dany and Sansa are getting really good at shutting down like just, like people who are better at words than at fighting.
Yeah, I love Dany's team, and some of the scenes that we got with her interacting with all these people together in one place were really interesting. Varys has always been one of the characters that I appreciated a lot. And I thought this was a really interesting scene with the two of them, because it confirms like how we've always seen Varys, and he actually gets a moment to like be like, yeah, I have done these things, but if it happens, I'm going to do it again because I believe what I'm doing is right, and for her to just be like, listen, that's fine, I get it, say it to my face, that's exactly how I would respond. So I like that a lot. It felt true to how Varys would act and true to how Daenerys would be. So I dug it.
Yeah, I really like that dialogue that they had, and it'll be interesting to see if he does keep his word. Like, if he sees the tables are turning, like the super team is not as super anymore, and we'll get to that towards the end of the episode. But if they're not as super anymore, will his allegiance waver? We'll see. I mean, I don't think yet, but further down the line, maybe we'll see what happens with him. Maybe when another king maybe shows up next week or so. So from then on, we have an interruption, and they say that there's a visitor here, and we get Melisandre. So I don't know if Melisandre rode there. She looks beautiful still, with perfect makeup, perfect hair, everything. Or maybe she's just been hanging out in like a tower in Dragonstone that we don't know about. And then she just came down, did herself up and came down. But she looked amazing. And, they spoke in High Valyrian first. And they talk about the prophet. She's like, luckily you came, I think Tyrion or Varys was quick to mention that you served a different king, the wrong king. And Dany's like, lucky for her that we're pardoning people today. To which, Varys does a little bow. And then she mentions the prophecy and how about the prince that was promised. But then Missandei interrupts and says, listen, the High Valyrian is kind of, there's no gender denominated to that prince. So it could be prince or princess. So she kind of likes that better. But, Melisandre urges that Jon Snow has somebody else has a piece to play, a part to play in this. And it's Jon Snow. And then Tyrion says, Jon Snow, wow, he's a good guy. Maybe we should send a raven. And Dany says, yeah, we'll send a raven, but for him to bend the knee. So she's quick to be like, do you think she should seek, she's looking for a king. Do you think she should right away say bend the knee, or should she meet him for it? How do you find her reaction?
I think she was a little harsh, but it's Dany, so it's not terribly surprising. My biggest problem is what Michelle is saying in the chat, that High Valyrian is Dany's mother tongue, and it's a little it felt a little exposition-y for them to be saying that. Like, that was for the purpose of the audience. Like, Daenerys would know this, to me.
I could also, but think about how English and Old English, how much of that has changed too. Like, there can be parts of that language that have been forgotten. But I would think more interesting if the or is not an or, but an and it's the prince and princess. Like,
yeah.
It uses one word that's gender neutral. Is the thing.
So we can say
it's
that
plural.
We can say that we can change the gender, but we can't say it's like horse or it's like goats, or what's a better example? Deer and deer. There's no deers.
You know what I think though?
Yeah.
Maybe when she heard that, because it's not well known on the show, but it was well known that Rhaegar was obsessed with this prophecy. So maybe one of, when Dany's growing up, because, they didn't really know each other. So when Dany was growing up, someone said, your brother was really into this prophecy and about the prince who's promised, the prince who's promised, the prince who's, and they kind of hammered it into her head. So she never saw it as a different interpretation. Maybe that's how that's why she's not as fluent in that. Maybe, I don't know. Because when you kind of hear something one way over and over and over, maybe that's why she kind of had that. That's the only explanation I could have for that. I'm not sure though.
She could have also been told the Nisa story, because while she was in Essos, she could have gotten many interpretations of this one.
What we did like about this scene a lot was Tyrion putting a good word in for Jon Snow. We really liked that, because that is one relationship that was very early on in the show and the books, where they went to the wall together and they bonded. And I think that he had an effect on Jon. Like, he had some words of wisdom for him, which he obviously has a nod towards in the note that he sends to him. But we were looking forward to a potential reunion between them, and we liked a lot that he was like, listen, I like Jon Snow and I trusted him, and I believe him, and I think that his word does mean a lot to both Daenerys and to Jon, and he could be a good mediator between the two of them.
In regards to and I really want to see Sansa and Tyrion see each other, because I think Tyrion, for all he knows, Sansa's probably dead. Considering that the whole plot was he got sent away before it. No, I was gonna say something else. I forgot what it was. Anyway, it was good. I liked it. When you say I didn't like this episode, I liked it. There's just better episodes of Game of Thrones.
so she decides to send a raven. And the next scene we see is actually Jon getting the raven from Daenerys, and he asks his two advisors, Sansa and Davos, and they don't think it's a good idea because, like, well, she asks, "Are you sure it's from Tyrion?" And then it's a callback to the first episode where they first meet, saying, "Are you the dwarf?" He goes, "And you must be the bastard," and wear like an armor and all that kind of dialogue they had in the first episode. And he goes, "Yeah, it's like a little hint that it's him." And she does say Tyrion's a guy that you can, he was always nice to me, but I don't know if we should trust him. And I was like, I think we do need that stuff, but maybe it shouldn't be you that goes. But they do believe that an alliance is necessary against Cersei, or maybe the White Walkers too. So we never know. But they do agree. And that was just a quick little scene, but then right away we cut to King's Landing, where Cersei calls to court the Tyrell Bannermen, men, most notably the Tarly, Randall Tarly, and his son Dickon, who is Sam's brother. I mean, and they're not really quick to pledge their allegiance. They said, like, we know what you do to people who disobey you, but we know they want to stay loyal to their lord, because they've known, like Randall says when he's talking to Jaime later, that I've known Elena since we were children, and I'm not ready to, what do you call it, betray her. And Jaime's like, "Oh, I would want you as my commander and general commander," or whatever he said, ranking general in the battle. Do you think Randall's gonna change sides, or he's gonna stick with Olenna and them?
No, I think he's gonna change sides based on what we've seen in the trailers and stuff. Real quick, back to the letter from Tyrion, though.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say anything about bending the knee. So do you think Tyrion left that part of the letter out?
Oh yeah, so that's actually, I didn't pick that up. That's actually a good call, because how when Robert was giving his death will, like his will or last word, and he goes, "To my son," and then my rightful heir. So that's a good call. I didn't pick that up. Nice.
Jon would have gone there on the principle of bending the knee. But if he thought he was going there on equal footing and like they can both get something out of it, he probably would have gone. I think Tyrion knows that. So that could be interesting when it's brought up. But I also, to that point, real quick, because that's what I forgot about, she's losing in like more and more kingdoms. Because she pretty much told Yara she could be Queen of the Iron Isles if that happens, which I don't think it. And if Jon doesn't bend the knee, then that's like half of the kingdom right there. Like, what is she going to rule?
Well, she did tell him to bend the knee, so she doesn't intend to.
But you know what I mean? So I feel like it's going to be, in order to get the allegiance, I feel like he's going to have to bend the knee. I feel like it's going to be a bargaining chip.
Yeah, we'll see.
But as far as the Tarleys.
I saw Eric in the chat, and he was talking about Davos rather should know about the dragon glass. But if you remember, like, when the dragon glass was brought up to Stannis didn't really seem that interested in the dragon glass. It didn't seem like he saw much value in it, so just maybe he's never mentioned it because he didn't find it to be a particularly valuable asset at that time. Like, the mine was there, but it's no longer being used because no one cares. All right, Kel. But yeah, I agree about Tarly. That's what I think he's going to do.
So from there, we go to the Citadel, and we have Archmaester Ebros with Sam, and they're looking at Jorah over here, and he says that, like, you have years to live, but only a few more months left with your mind. I think he has 6 months with his mind, so he's gonna lose his mind in about 6 months. So he does say, because you are an anointed knight, we'll give you, if you were any other person, we would have sent you away to Valyria to, rot away with all the stone men. But since you're an anointed knight, we'll give you one more night here. Do it what you will. And he kind of looks at Jorah's sword, suggesting kill yourself. And then while, then Archmaester walks away, and Sam goes, "Do you have anyone to write to your family or anything?" He's like, "No, they've forgotten me anymore." And then he mentions his last name, Mormont, and that, triggers, obviously Sam knowing Jeor Mormont being part of the Night's Watch triggered. So that was kind of like, it was a nice scene, I thought. And that kind of got the wheels turning a little bit more. Like, Sam was leaning towards helping this guy, but at least, he's been in the restrictions section reading books anyway. But now I think he has more incentive to do it, or more motivation to do it, I should say. What did you guys think of that scene and finding out that, him finding out that this is Jorah Mormont?
I mean, I think definitely saw an opportunity to repay a debt that, I mean, his father saved Sam's life multiple times. Sam failed his father on that with the Ravens. You know what I mean? So maybe this is like a way that he can actually do something for them. I don't know. I think it was noble. I liked it, and we see later that he does what he needs to do.
He tries. Yeah.
Can you stop biting me?
So from there we go back to King's Landing, and Qyburn is taking Cersei to the bowels of underneath King's Landing, under the castle, and we see all the dragon skulls, and most notably you see Balerion the Dread, which was supposed to be like the largest dragon, comparable to Drogon, or what Drogon will become back during Aegon's conquering days. And I thought it would be bigger because you see Cersei next to it, and it doesn't even look that big. Because when you see Dany in the back in the preview, she looks tiny on Drogon. So this is like this skull looks kind of small, but apparently dragons were getting smaller. But Balerion's supposed to be massive, so I don't know what was going on in this scene. Like, it should have been a lot bigger, in my opinion, but who knows? But then they introduced a weapon that they were talking about, and that's just basically a ballista, a giant crossbow, which, you know, I guess get pierced the dragon skull, which we saw because he shoots it at the Balerion skull, and it crashes right through. You think? I mean, how mobile do you think this weapon is? Do you think it can hit a dragon that's flying? Wouldn't you
literally all I could think of when I saw this thing was I was getting the Hobbit feels, because it's very like the black arrow that they were trying to shoot Smaug with. I don't know, man. Like, you're right. He direct shot standing still. We're assuming these dragons are going to be in flight, fighting furiously. It's going to be a lot harder to get them. I hope they have lots of like arrows for this thing. And
they're not taking into account, like, I don't think they don't have scales, like, because when he says, oh, they were hurt in Marine, the only thing that really got hurt was the wings got torn a bit. You know what I mean? Like, I think he got stabbed a couple of times, but that's still, it didn't like injure him. I think the scales are gonna, because of the way they're angled, you know, I don't think they're gonna be as impactful as they think they're gonna be. I think
and plus he's bigger, so I'm sure scales have hardened since then. But you know what? They could have like 40 or 50 or 60 of these, and they just all shoot at once. And you know, how can you dodge all those? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I guess we'll see. But I think these are strong enough to pierce a dragon's. They like the one like Kimber's mentioning with Smaug. Like, I'm pretty sure it's like a special arrow that is so sharp or something that could pierce the dragon's hide. Well, I don't know.
Smaug had to get hit twice in the same exact spot with the special weapon to get it. He was like another level of what they're advertising with Drogon at this point. Yeah.
Too, so.
Yeah.
Different types of beasts on that.
We go back to Dragonstone and Dany's here with her small council, and she's, you know, which includes like the Greyjoys and Sand Snakes and Lady Olenna, and they're discussing strategy. And they finally reveal the plan that the Dornish and Tyrell armies will lay siege to the King's Landing, cutting off their food and like all those other supplies. Meanwhile, the Unsullied and Dothraki will sail around and storm Casterly Rock, the home seat of the Lannisters. So from that plan, then, you know, Yar's like, I agree, and then Ilaria says, I agree. And Olenna says, I agree too. And then Dany has a meeting with the Queen of Thorns, Olenna Tyrell, and says, you know, you must not fully submit to the Westerosi men's plans because, you know, I haven't, and I'm still alive, and most of them are, you know, dead from all this plotting. Then, you know, remember that you're a dragon, not a sheep. So are you going to be a dragon? So, you know, what did you guys think of that scene between what did you guys think of the plan at first? Do you think it's a good plan? And then what do you think of the little private scene that they had between Olenna and Dany?
I think Tyrion knows his sister more than anybody, and I think she thinks Casterly Rock's more important than she's letting on. Like, that's like her pride, lion pun. And so if that gets taken, like, what does that say about her as a queen? You know what I mean? How can she rule all 7 kingdoms if she can't just, you know, keep her own home base fine? Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to deal some trouble. But seeing the trailers, like, the people in King's Landing seem happy about what she's doing lately. So I don't know
was
how that's
scared into submission.
Yeah, it's like Stockholm syndrome.
I adore the Queen of Thorns. I'm with Eric Monroe on this one. I love her. She was in my top characters when I did that video with Morgan. I thought it was really smart of her to choose Olenna to be the one to pull aside and have a private conversation with, because this is a woman who is like powerful and seasoned and seen a lot of shit and like dealt with a lot of people. And I think that it was a smart choice to spend some private time with her just to see what she thinks and if she has any advice and to get a feel for what this woman is like. And it was a great scene. I love what Olenna had to say. I think it's good advice. You know, I've been on the hoping she's a villain thing, and she's seeming mad villainous to me in this episode for like a few moments. And I don't think it hurts what Olenna had to say to her, pushing her towards her inner dragon, if you will, you know, urging her to, I guess, like, not forget that she's a Targaryen and that she's the Mad King's daughter, you know?
But I also think Tyrion brings up a good point. You don't want to be the Queen of the Ashes, and if there's one thing we remember about Daenerys dreaming about, it was either snow or ashes on the throne. So...
Right. So, but this could be pushing her for what, you know, what you're theorizing before, Kimber, about her becoming that kind of the villain, right? She might actually be the villain in all this. So, you know, maybe this could be the first initial push towards that. I guess we're going to see.
Oh, I'd love it. I'm into it.
Especially coming from Queen of Thorns, because you love her character as well. So, because one thing I've heard people say is that Olenna's not really into it for the strategy. She's really more in it for revenge. So her motives are not completely towards Dany's, you know what I mean? Like, it's more for revenge against Cersei than actually helping Dany become the queen. So that could play a part as well.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to have Dany become the queen afterwards, because then she has a great ally. Even if it's for her own self-interest, it's going to be better for herself if she aligns herself with somebody who's winning.
And the Tyrells were big supporters of the Targaryens before Robert came around.
Oh, I don't mean like that. I just mean like the way that she's maybe strategizing. She's not looking at to help ultimately Dany get the kingdom. She's just helping, just want to get that revenge out of the way. That's what her main focus is.
She's not looking at the long game. She just wants results.
Exactly right. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. Well, the last thing that happened in Dragonstone is we had the nice touching scene between Missandei and Grey Worm. You know, it was such a, you know, a lot of people are saying on the internet was like, this guy Jacob Anderson only has to talk in a very you know, using only a few amount of words, but he gives such a powerful performance. And I like this episode had a lot of powerful performances from people who didn't really say much. And Grey Worm was one of them. You know, he didn't really say much, but his speech about the weakness was so beautiful and touching. And, you know, that led to, a romantic moment in between them. And, you know, I know a lot of people made jokes about this on the internet, but I think it was a great scene. And I think, you know, they finally, hopefully will get a happy ending. At least this is their happy ending at the moment. And what happens from here when he goes to catch the lock, we don't know. But you got anything to say about this scene?
Yeah, he's definitely going to die.
I think the moment they name another Unsullied and be like, oh, this is Red Maggot, we're gonna know that Grey Worm's gonna eat it, because we can't have like no named Unsullied.
Also, I believe you remember me saying from last season, and since it's been a thing, that I don't know why Grey Worm hasn't been on this amazingly, stunningly gorgeous woman this whole time, because he definitely has other body parts that he can put to use there. I'm just proud of them, and she's I can't deal with how beautiful that woman is. And
another like testament to how good I keep on wanting to call him Raleigh Ritchie, because that's his rap name, Jacob Anderson, is like a good actor, because like his personality in real life is completely different. We watch him on Band Grumps when he comes in and guest stars. He's hilarious, and so for him to play this stoic, like weird. I don't know how to describe him, but he does
really
an
excellent job. Yeah, cute butt too, so good for that.
Yeah, I didn't. When I saw him at Comic-Con, I was like, so surprised at how like his personality just shines through. It's great. So we go back to the Citadel, and we have Archmaester Ebrose just giving Sam books, and saying this, you're gonna write the histories one day, and he gives some long, arduous title, boring, and he goes, I thought it would be something more poetic, maybe alluding to a Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe he's the actual author of all this. We don't know. But that was pretty fun. But, Archmaester Ebrose is not really willing to help Sam through all this. He says the whole thing about I knew him from the guy Pylos, I think, or Archmaester Pylos they mentioned. He's like, he died of grayscale, you know, so he doesn't want to be helpful because the last time he helped the student and especially helped him get to materials in the restriction section, he became Lord Voldemort. So he's like, I'm not going to help this guy anymore. So he's like, I'm not helping him. But what does Sam do? He takes things in his own hands, and he starts to operate on Jorah by peeling off each layer of grayscale and cutting into it. And then we get one of those great edits that we were talking about from it, you know, the pooping we saw last week to the stew. We see him cut into. But anything you guys want to say about the Citadel before we leave the Citadel?
I think it's really good. Not only like even get out my coffee, Ken. What are you doing? Even the choice of like yellow green pus that they use, like I know people are getting grossed out this season. I think it's awesome, and I am not a fan of gore at all.
It doesn't bother me at all. I thought it was great.
No, I know, but you know me, like I'm not a big fan of it. But seeing it, it looked really good. And like you said, the editing was so good.
I'm a little concerned that Sam is becoming the new Kyber, and that was like what I said when we were watching the episode the first time. I'm like, is Sam the new Kyber? And this like concerns me a bit. He's making some like, not sure like if he's really thinking out the things that could go wrong here, you know?
He's I mean, I think it's a noble effort on that part, but as far as everything else, stealing, he's doing the job that he was sent there to do. Like he's trying to cut through all the red tape.
Yeah.
Like
so was like, Qyburn.
It'd be like, okay, you know Voldemort's about to attack ministry to find a way to stop him, and they like put you on paperwork.
But
like,
listen, what you're doing, that's exactly how Qyburn has always explained his side of the story, is that like he was more creative, he was more inventive, he had these ideas that were too out of the box. We know what he was doing, but Sam is like just getting there, and this is what he's doing. How long was Qyburn there before he got to that point?
It's not like Jorah died and he's like, well, I have to bring him back to life for his dad.
I'm just saying he's playing with fire and he's looking a little Qyburn. You're gonna get Qyburn. You're gonna
summon Ed Sheeran.
If you play with fire.
Like that meme I put up
earlier. There you go.
Yeah, so we had that cut of him like actually cutting into Jorah's flesh, and that the transition was to someone cutting into the chicken pot pie at this little inn where Arya is at, and it's coincidentally where Hot Pie worked, right? So she went to go to see him on King's Road, and I think the scene was great. I mean, like I don't ever really tear up in Game of Thrones besides the Hodor scene. This scene really got to me, where him saying like, telling him, aren't you going to go back to Winterfell? And she's like, why? Would I go? The Boltons. Like, no, they don't. Jon Snow won the Battle of the Bastards and all that kind of stuff. And she's like, no, you're lying to me. She's like, no, I wouldn't lie to you. And then she's reaching a pen. He goes, friends don't pay. And I nearly like broke out in tears, like right in that scene, because that was such a nice moment for them. And which makes me think, because she gets up and leaves and she goes, stay alive, survive. He goes, I'm a survivor. So does that mean he's going to die? We don't know. So that's when she sees those two guys who were over talking, going to King's Landing. She decides, should I follow them or go north? And she goes the opposite way. She goes north, so we think she's heading back to Winterfell. What did you guys think of this scene with
You skipped the best part of the scene, because he told her to brown the butter, and she said that she didn't do that. And he's like, have you been making pies? And she's like, a few. And that's obviously like a reference to her cooking the phrase into pies. So that was like a nice little subtle Sweeney Todd moment once.
Yeah, I cheered when I was like, her horse was facing King. Like, I think those people were only there so that we would know what direction they were going in, so we could know if they're going south. She must obviously be going north. Mm-hmm. But I thought it worked really well. I cheered. I was super excited. I
also like the Hot Pie complimented her, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe that I thought you were a boy because you're pretty." But he also, like, it was in a very, like, non-creepy dude kind of way. It wasn't the first thing he said. It was just casual. And then he follows it up with, I'm just like you. I'm a survivor. So he compliments her on something that's about her personality and her strength as a human being. So I thought that Hot Pie was adorable and really sweet, and I loved it.
And I wish the actor all the success with his bakery.
And do you think he's a goner now because he said that? Did he just jinx himself?
No.
I don't know if we'll see him again, but it was sweet. I'm just going to take it for what that moment was.
I'd like to believe Hot Pie is going to die of old age. He's the Jerry from Parks and Rec of this show. He's going to be 100 and something with 100 grandkids. Hot Pie wins the Game of Thrones. because he doesn't want.
I don't know what that means, but I will take it. So we go back. So we say that Arya is heading to Winterfell, and so we go back to Winterfell, and we see Jon telling the lords and ladies of the North that he got both ravens. One from Sam saying that, hey, there's a mound of dragon glass underneath Dragonstone, but we need to go there. And the other one he talks about, I think it was about Cersei, right, wanting us to go bend the knee. But he's not going to do that. Well, actually, sorry, the two ones that he wants, Danny wants him to go there and bend the knee, or just go and meet him, and the dragon glass cache underneath there, and all the lords, the majority of the lords, including Lyanna Mormont, say no, you should stay here because you're the king in the North, and we elect you that, and you should stay in the North. And it's like, no, we really need to go. We have to go. And everyone's like, send somebody else. But he's like, no, a king must meet a queen. And they're like, well, then, you got to have a ruler in the North. So he names, Sansa the new Lord or Lady of Winterfell while he's away. And she kind of is kind of shocked, but she kind of looked over to what's his face a lot, Littlefinger, which I didn't like. But, Brienne, they showed Brienne and she smiled. So Brienne's approving of it. And then we go down to the crypts where Jon is looking at Ned, Ned's statue, and Littlefinger comes and says, you owe me a thanks. You haven't thanked me yet. And he kind of throws out a little proposal thing to Sansa, and he gets mad and starts choking him out. And then he's like, if you ever touch my sister, I will kill you. And then it goes to him leaving. He leaves Winterfell, heading towards Dragonstone, and Sansa gives a little wave goodbye for that. So this actually brings me to Janine's question. She asked, at Janine Devine asked, do you think Littlefinger is going to set up a plot to have Jon Snow assassinated on his way to Dragonstone?
Good luck with that. I guess if he wants to try.
I mean, he could try. We know he's not going to succeed because we see him arrive at Dragonstone. Maybe he'll do it after Dragonstone because maybe he'll say, "Oh, he met with Danny and Danny killed him" or something like that. But do you think we can see it? Because I thought it was a really good question by Gene. I thought really interesting to hear that.
I think if he has enough power to mess up location or his position as it is, you know what I mean? He knows that Ned isn't his real father, so if he wanted to get him off the throne, he can at any time, or try. So I don't think he needs to show a show of force, but let's remember that Tyrion didn't, or Littlefinger didn't seem that deadly the first time around until Ned kind of choked him out, and then he realized, oh, force is necessary.
I just find it very unlikely.
I don't think they'll waste time on it.
That he would successfully be able to do that to Jon at this point. That's not how Jon
is. He thinking about it? Probably.
Yeah.
That brings us to what where Arya, the last part of Arya is where she's at her camp making a fire, her horse is getting spooked, and she's surrounded by a pack of wolves, and all of a sudden Nymeria comes. You see a giant dire wolf behind her, and it's actually Nymeria. And I mean, I wasn't really touched by the scene. I know everyone's getting so excited for the scene of Arya reuniting with Nymeria, but it really didn't do anything for me. I wasn't too thrilled with it. I mean, it was a cool scene to see, nice callback, but I don't know. How'd you guys feel about it?
I thought it was good. It made me worry a little bit. I had this conversation with Kimber. She's gonna start the couch. I was a little worried that when she's like, "Oh, that's not you," that might change her mind to make her go to King's Landing, because she might not think of herself belonging in a castle like she said when she was in the first season. But I think we talked about it. She's probably gonna still go to to Winterfell. I don't know how long she's gonna stay there, but of course she's going when Jon's leaving.
Yeah.
So it's going to take an episode or two to see the reunion we want to see. But I'm looking forward to seeing her and Sansa together.
Yeah, I liked this scene. I think that it confused a lot of people. I think some people thought when she said, "It's not you," they didn't realize that she was referencing what she said about herself before. They just thought that she was saying it wasn't Nymeria. So I definitely saw some confusion on the internet about that. But I thought this was a nice scene. I don't think that wolf looked like Nymeria, and I understand they were trying to make a point that it looks feral now, but that's clearly a completely different wolf. They have a recasting problem on Game of Thrones. I wish they would stop. It kind of ruins the continuity a little bit. But Yeah, it was all right. Like, I wasn't in tears or anything, and I've known to be in tears during the show, but I thought it was nice that it was acknowledged that she's out there, and obviously, like, the pack of wolves is a bigger part in the books and stuff, so it was nice to see them wrap it.
I will say, though, and maybe it's because dragons are, like, fantasy creatures, so we don't know what they really look like. I think their stuff at the direwolves are some of the weakest CGI they have.
This one was pretty good, though.
Yeah, it was all right.
It's just like Uncanny Valley.
Well, let's not forget Ghost is missing for like the last like 18 episodes or whatever it was.
Which do we completely skip the brand? Oh yeah, okay. This was it. So somebody, I think it was Preston Jacobs or maybe it was 60 Citadel. Somebody brought up the fact that Ghost hasn't been around, and that would have been the perfect way for Bran to prove who he was if Ghost just came up and started licking Bran.
Oh yeah.
From the last episode, I think at that point Ed would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, naturally, but I'm still wondering why he used that freaky, you saw the dead, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I just think, why haven't we...
Ghost really hasn't seen Bran that much, right? Besides the one time at Craster's Keep, right?
Yeah, well, I mean...
Bran's also a ward.
Yeah, and I think Ghost would still recognize him. It's like a soldier coming home from war kind of thing. He was a puppy.
From childhood, remember, John left that the next like morning and Bran didn't fall out. Like, so I wasn't like... I guess maybe he had him for a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they had him for a week or two before the Robert showed up, right? Because the timeline's weird because like a day or two will go by and they won't say anything.
So that brings us to the final scene of the show, that episode, I mean. God forbid show yet. We have the inside Yara's ship and she's getting kind of close with Ilaria and kind of she's kind of like Ilaria's kind of mocking Theon. And then also we hear like a boom, and they go upstairs, and out of the fog emerges Silence, which we know is Euron's ship. And can this guy make an entrance or what? He always has the best entrances, always. And like I was telling you before, he's been on the show for like 5 minutes, and like all 5 minutes have been great entrances. So then from there we go to seeing the little Kraken bridge start dropping down, and you sent me a great video for this. That alludes to WWE as well, which is hilarious. But just how we talk about the costumes on the show and all that stuff. I want to say for Euron, the ships have been looking amazing. Even each small detail, the ships have been looking amazing. And one more aspect of I keep saying Theon, Euron that looks amazing. We'll get to in a second. I don't think I have a good picture of it, but we'll get to it in a little bit. That thing comes crashing down on a person who didn't move. It's like that. It's like an Austin Powers when that guy with the remember when Austin gets in the steamroller. And the guards at the end of the hallway is like, no, and like Austin's like, move out of the way, and he's like 50 feet away, but the guy still stays like, no, and like, so this guy sees this thing coming crashing down, and he like watches it come down, and he dies. And the guy who leads him into battle is Euron. Like Euron's in the front, like fighting, like, and like here's Eric's gonna love this because the last time I saw something like this, besides John running in, but John ran in out of anger, not out of a strategy or like fighting well. He ran in out of anger at the Battle of Bastards. The last time I saw someone come in like really well and lead a siege really well was Stannis in Blackwater Bay. He was in the front of the lines for that, like going crazy, killing people, first to climb up the ladder to storm the wall. So Stannis is the last person I see to do this, and like they both did a great job in both these sieges. The cool thing I want to say about Euron was that he had his weapon, like his sword or whatever it was, like an axe. It would look like a Kraken. It was so beautifully detailed. I hope they sell that on Valyrian Steel because I want to get that sword, that whatever that is. I don't know if you want to call it a sword or an axe or whatever it is. I want to get that. It looks so amazing. So then he gets, while this is happening, a lot. The two Sand Snakes are killed. I think it's Obara is killed and Nymeria is killed. And Ilaria and Tyene are captured. And so is Yara, and Yara's holding, Euron's holding Yara like by the neck, with his weapon to the neck, and you see Theon kill a few guys, and then he turns around to see this. Now, can I talk about like one of the best acting? Like I said, like the acting on the show, this episode has been amazing, especially with that dialogue. You see Alfie Allen act so well here that you see him devolve from Theon back to Reek, just looking around, seeing the torture and like people's throats getting cut out. I mean, like, tongues getting cut out. Just the little looks, the little subtle looks he does, and like his eyes and all that. It was so well done, in my opinion. His change to Reek right there was amazing. His transformation, and like Euron's like, come and get her, and then I guess, you know, Theon's been studying with Serial Pharrell, because what do you tell the god of death? Not today. So he just jumps off and he watches Silence sail away, and you know their fleet, the Iron Fleet, is burned. So I want to ask you, like, before you answer, what did you guys feel? How do you feel about the scene? Do you guys think they went to Dorne already and picked up the Dornish army, or were they on the way? Because people are asking, is the Dornish army eliminated now?
I think they were on the way. I don't think they had the Dornish army yet. They would have let us know that. Did you agree?
Me, or are you asking Tom?
No. You.
Oh, I don't think they had the Dornish army either.
Yeah. But I did love this scene. I loved it from the moment that the kiss stuff, I think, was queer baiting a little bit. That made me a little upset, but it was improvised. That wasn't in the script. Those two ladies were just having a moment in real life, and that was thrown in there. They just kind of did that. So I don't blame them. They're both attractive ladies. But I loved it when they went up on the deck and you see like the silhouette of Silence and there's like lightning, and it's some badass pirate shit for once on this show. Like there hasn't been anything that's like a sea battle like this on the show yet, and it was so cool. And Euron, like, he's totally changing my mind about that character. I was pretty unimpressed last season. Like this dude came in so ridiculous. Like we were cracking up. We had to rewind it because it was as funny as it was entertaining. Like I thought it was hysterical and awesome, and like I like the axe. I saw Eric talking about how that's kind of like a shout out to Victarion, who in the books is his brother, and they've kind of combined him. My one thing is I wish he would have lost his eye in this battle.
Yes.
That would have been awesome, because then he could wear his eye patch, which I know is a complaint amongst me and several other book readers who watch the show. But I thought this was really fun and cool and exciting, man. And Tom's going to talk about Theon.
Oh, I have a bunch of things to say. Okay, so I love that Game of Thrones has its own Mad Max character. That's exactly what Euron feels like, is Mad Max. I don't hate it. I'm not criticizing. What was really cool, we compliment the editing all the time. And the editing during the siege, you would notice that, like, it kind of did like some fast speed takes, like it would be like increased speed, like maybe by like 1.5% or whatever, but it didn't look natural. And I thought it was really effective as far as a way to convey like the blitzkrieg nature of the Ravengers, or the Reavers. I'm sorry, I got two properties mixed up, but they're like, you know, I thought it was really clever. You were brought up past fights, but this kind of reminded me too, with maybe not leading the charge, but just the ferocity in battle, was shirtless Ramsay, when the Greyjoys against Yara. So I thought there was some similarities there. And then as far as Theon goes, I saw a comment on a thread that you tagged us in, and if Theon has learned anything, I think it's of people like Euron / Ramsay. They kind of understand their intentions more. And if Theon did go for Yara, her neck would have got slit the moment.
Exactly.
So I think him jumping into the water, like this guy said, saved Yara, because yes, she's a hostage. But I think she's going to be off to the side until because Theon is still an heir to the throne, so to say, despite the fact that he doesn't have the parts to, you know, but he could always name another ruler.
Yeah, we thought he was going to be gone for a minute after that whole protector speech.
I was really mad. I was like, he did the protector speech, and then I'm like, all right, so Theon's going to jump in and redeem himself. And he didn't, but then I was like, oh, well, you know, I could be giving him too much credit. But I think he knew. It's kind of like the Rickon thing. Would Rickon have gotten shot when he did if Jon hadn't reached out his hand at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you this guys first, and then we have a few quick segments in between. But here's a question we can pose to the callers when they call in: is where do you think Theon's going to be? Like, he's in the middle of the ocean. We see him later. We saw one of the previews that he washed up on shore. Where do you think he's going to wash up?
Well, I don't.
Will he be encircled by a Dothraki horde again? No, he's not going to go all the way across Essos again. What do you think?
No. I mean, some people have Twitter around with the idea that he runs into Gendry, that Gendry's might be on some island somewhere doing
He's rowing.
and
Like, oh, pick me up.
or just picks him up in the middle of the ocean.
Dragonstone was my thought as well. I've seen other people kicking that around, but I'm with Tom. Like, we don't know where they were on the map.
Right.
I guess we'd have to look. If they were still pretty close to Dragonstone, then Dragonstone's a fair bet.
It's likely somewhere between Dragonstone and King's Landing.
Right.
It's just like, how
Because
can
Flea
this
had to
dude
leave.
realistically swim without dying? Like,
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking he gets picked up by somebody.
He's Davosing it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to our next segment. Where,
I hope he. Oh, what if he drowns?
oh, and he comes back.
Yeah.
That could be cool if he
Then he
drowns
becomes
and
king.
ends up on a shore somewhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. Wow.
And they make him patch face.
All right, so we go to our next segment, which is I Will Be Your Champion. So we're gonna give a story arc or a character who their champion is. So we're gonna go to Tom first, and then Kimber.
Oh, my champion is Hot Pie.
Yes. Any reason why or no? That's just-
Yeah, because he's making my dreams come true. All I've wanted is Arya to be home for like 3 seasons. So the fact that he gave her some intel, and not only that, it's cool to see that like a character has a normal life, despite like, because we get to see all the people who are stuck in the chaos. But for Hot Pie, who's just one of the small folk making pies every day, who seems happy to do what he's doing, it's just nice. It's just like, oh, there is some good ones in Westeros. Yeah.
Grey Worm is my champion. He is also making my dreams come true. They are just very different dreams. The end.
Okay. For me as well, it is Hot Pie. I loved Hot Pie scene because he told Arya about the Battle of the Bastards and what happened. So he's gonna get her home. And plus, yeah, he's holding a good 9-to-5 job in a world where everyone is dying, and he's happy doing it. He's like the one person in Game of Thrones who's been happy pretty much throughout. You know, so good for him, and good for him to help out. And I almost teared up in that scene. So he's a good guy. So for me, now we're going to go to our other part where we talk about our shame bell of the week. And so I'm going to go first, then we'll go to Kimber, and then we'll go to Tom. So my shame bell goes to the Sand Snakes. They talk so much shit about killing the mountain and doing all that and all this awesome fighting that they could do, but they died to one guy, 2-on-1, and I guess it wasn't complete 2-on-1 battle. Oh, but let me get to them first. Shame. That you got your ass whooped by one guy basically. What about you, Kimber?
I gotta shame Theon.
Theon, okay.
He jumped off.
Shame.
Yeah.
Tom?
I mean, still, like, I don't want to shame Theon. Like, he was my original pick too, but I really like the theory that he knew that Euron would do something. No, I don't. I have to reevaluate my life real quick. Shame on Sam for not wearing face protection. That pus could have hit him.
Shame. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. So you're shaming Sam because he wasn't wearing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nichelle said it too. Like, she was expecting it to just like pop like a pimple and hit him in the face.
Well, he passed him the
that was smart on him,
too,
yes. But he was like, nope. But yeah, he should be wear a glove before that love. That's all I'm saying.
I think I hear something in the distance, and we're gonna have to go to our next scene. That sound means we're going to getting our Raven from Castle Black, and we're going to our poll. So we'll turn over to Kimber, who has our poll.
Yeah, so this time Cal put out the question. He wrote, what was the best reunion from this episode? Stormborn. And the choices were Arya and Hot Pie, Arya and Nymeria, Euron with Yara and Theon, or other. And Arya and Nymeria came in a solid lead with 55% of the poll, followed by Arya and Hot Pie. So it's getting the Arya love pretty much on this post. And Arya and Hot Pie had 28%, and Euron and his niece and nephew were at 17%. There was only 1% for other.
Yeah, and I didn't get to even see. I looked it up, and I don't think anyone had like a real legit answer for that. So, yeah,
nope,
I vote actually vote for the hot pie. I love that scene.
Me too.
Yeah, I love that scene a lot. So this is the moment people have been waiting for a few weeks now. We're gonna actually go with the Knights Box raffle now. So we have a list of people who entered the raffle, and I guess you guys have a die, and we'll go from there.
Yes, we do. If there's anything about Game of Thrones that we appreciate, it's all the dying.
All men must die.
Oh, that one's better.
Valar Morghulis. So here we go.
Easy.
So everyone's been given a number from all the legit entries we have, and we are going to roll it, and hopefully get a number between 1 and 15.
1 and 15, we're aiming for, right?
Oh,
9.
9. My favorite number. Congratulations, Billy Pollahan. So B-Buster Bill, who's
nice,
calling in soon. Billy has won a Night's Watch shirt, as well as 2 Funko Pops, a Dragonstone Ghost, and a Funko Legacy that was Brienne of Tarth that was donated by Odd Shape Channel. So congratulations, Bill. And actually 9 is my favorite number, so kind of like maybe fixed. Who knows? No, I'm kidding. But congratulations, and I will get to you your shirt size. Let me know. I'll DM you and give me your shirt size and all that, and we will. I will send it out once I get back from vacation because it's gonna take me a while to get the shirt first.
Yeah, and for the record, we did not know what numbers went to what people, so that's a completely fair win on your part, Billy. Congrats.
But the raffle that is going to be rigged is going to be the one that we're going to announce tomorrow. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be a channel.
Another.
I'll be there for that. Oh, okay. So I guess we can go to our callers now. I think Kimber has a line of we can go ask 2 in at a time, and then I think we're saving Eric for last for a special announcement we're making. While you're getting the caller on the air, I just want to thank once again all the people who came to the party, the premiere party, and I tried to thank the most important people at the party, my parents, for helping me set it up and throw in always being great host. So thank my parents especially because I was so thankful to everybody else, and but can't forget my parents obviously. And also, I got a nice gift prior to the party. I was surprised. I didn't even know. My friend Jen sent me a little Kingslayer Funko Pop that I really wanted. That wasn't not being made anymore. So, I was waiting to get it at Comic-Con, but she actually surprised me with it the same day of the party. So it was nice. I want to thank Jen
cool.
well. So I think you guys got your invites. B-Buster. Oh, there's our winner, Billy. What's going on, Bill? Congratulations.
Hi, guys. Yeah.
I will get your information after this and order the shirts.
Yeah, we don't want to know what T-shirt size you are right now.
Add to your collection. So, what would you feel? Are we getting Corey in as well right now, or should we start with Billy right away?
Whenever he gets it, he'll come, I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, how do you feel about your win, Billy?
Shocked. Honestly, I was literally just thinking, like, there's no way I'm gonna win this. But you know what? Whoever wins, they deserve it. But then I just heard it's Billy Pollahan. I literally just went, oh shit.
Well, congratulations. I'm glad,
Nice.
we have a good community here, so I'm glad get everyone involved and all that, and we give back to the people who support us. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure to Tom Kimber as well. So it's awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, he's all right. He only gives us a shout on every single thing he does. So.
Bill, so what did you feel about the episode, and where do you think Theon's headed or landing, or what do you think's going on with Theon?
Okay, I like Tom have a lot of thoughts for Theon, but I'm going to leave that for last. First, I'm going to say hi to Corey. Hi, Corey.
Hey, Corey, welcome.
Hello, sir.
And what I think about the episode, I thought it was another really solid episode where I thought almost nothing was going to happen until the very end, when something definitely happened. And my favorite character in this episode was Euron Greyjoy, just because he goes in, he comes in like a total rock star. If he had like a bunch of hair, he'd probably just like rock out with like that axe or something, and he's just killing people left and right, and just like Kimber said, actually doing pirate shit, and it's awesome. And that laugh at the end was just so maniacal. I loved it, and I want to see more of that guy. But yeah, overall,
I had a conversation with somebody online, and we were talking about like if Ramsay's the Joker of Game of Thrones, Euron's like the Carnage, because like for Carnage, the act of killing itself is the joke, and he was just so happy to be there that I believed him. It was really good, and I'm excited to see what else we can get from this character.
It did bring up a question though.
Well, what's that?
How did Euron know where they were at? I mean, and how did he know that they were all on one ship as opposed to separate ships? I had that question bugging me, but I'm just like, no, that's not important.
You know what it was? He was probably heading to Dragonstone for, hoping that they can get something from Dragonstone, and they happen to cross their path. The fact that they're on one ship was their fault. He probably just went for the head ship, assuming maybe Theon and Yara are there, and he wanted them. You don't know who he wanted, and he happened to get lucky and get all of them. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I almost wonder if Yara didn't tell her daughter to go protect the mom, if the lead sand snake would have ever been found. I'm horrible with names, that's why I'm not saying it. But Ilaria?
Yeah, Ilaria.
Because they didn't come in until the moment the daughter went down there. So I'm curious about that. But yeah, that is their fault, strategically, for not breaking up the important people. Corey, what do you think?
I enjoyed this episode. There were a couple scenes where I got actually legitimately emotional, especially like Arya and Nymeria, because I read the first book back in 1996, so I've got 20 years invested in this show. so that, and I've been waiting for that to happen. It's like Arya and Nymeria, it's awesome. So yeah, there, and Hot Pie and all was good too. And it's getting emotional now because we know people are meeting back up, and it's going to be the end soon. It's all good. It's all just gravy at this point.
Yeah.
But I did want to.
What do you think Theon's gonna be? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I did want to say one other thing. Yeah, last week on the show, I was the only one that called that they would actually. The gift would be a person and not a location. Everybody was like, the gift is going to be Casterly Rock or whatever. I'm like, no, it's going to be a person.
No,
called it.
A lot of people said the Iron Bang. That's a lot of people said on the show, actually. So your thoughts on Theon? Both you guys? I don't think Billy really gave it, right?
I don't know.
What? Billy, did you give your thought on Theon? Where he's gonna end up?
Oh no, I haven't yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing before we get into Theon. I was glad that I think the sand snake that didn't die. I was glad she didn't die because I have a crush on that actress. But that's not important. No, my thoughts on Theon. I was honestly, I was really I just went I was screaming at my screen. I'm like, you coward! Why would you do this? You literally just got done saying, I'm going to protect her and all this crap. And it's just you completely just do the opposite thing. And just, you're like, later, whoop. But then I started to think about it. And then I'm like, you know what? This actually makes a lot of sense. Because if he went straight for her, Euron, I thought that Euron was just going to kill Yara either way. But I was surprised that he kept his niece alive because she's a threat to, his claim on the throne and all that. But no, Theon jumping over the edge. I'm actually starting to warm up to it because it's you know what? If he tries to get her back, he can fight for another day. It's better to, you got to know when to run. And yeah, give credit to Alfie Allen for acting the hell out of that scene. He just did it all in one look, and that's something that's not easy to do when acting. It's not how much you say, it's how you do it. That's why Hodor's part is actually a lot harder than people think it is, because you think, oh, he just says Hodor all the time. No, you gotta act it out, and yeah, I'm hoping Theon comes back and rescues his sister, but if not, he'll be with the drowned gods and all that stuff. So, yeah. What about you, Corey?
I know that he's got some of the worst PTSD on the show, and at the same point, Yara's been handling that by basically slapping him and telling him to snap out of it, man. And that only works for so long. That doesn't, and so I was kind of weirded out that it hadn't happened sooner, actually. I was expecting that very response from him at some point. Because he went through it. Go on.
Oh, sorry. I'm saying, if anything, this might just give Theon an opportunity to get picked up by another one of his Ironborn ships, and to lead. Like, we're going to see him a fleet. You know what I mean? And he can step up and save Yara as like. You know what I mean? That's why I hope he drowns.
The sea bitch.
I want him to drown. I want him to drown. I want Reek.
Come back as drown god. Yeah, Reek to drown, and Theon comes back. Kill the boy.
You know, I still. I'm one of those. I'm one of those who thinks Gendry is going to save him. And Theon's gonna go like, "What are you doing out here?" He goes, "I don't know. They just haven't written anything for me yet."
No, I'm sure Theon's gonna go like, "Who the hell are you?" And because they had never met, remember?
Right.
Hashtag where's Gendry?
All right, so we're gonna ask Bill and Corey if you have anything to plug before you guys go, because I know we gotta get a few more callers on, and Tom's gotta go, so we gotta move along. So, Billy first.
Okay, yeah, you can just find me at BBusterBill. All B's are capital on Twitter. You can find me on BlockbusterBill on Instagram there. Those are really the two social media platforms I use. And yeah, you can find me on all the shows at Odd Shape Panel, and I will always plug that. And you can find me here at the Night's Watch. I also write blogs for Odd Shape Panel, which I got 2 or 3 ideas that I'm working on, and I'm doing one with Mac that I think you guys are really gonna like. And that's down the pipeline, but yeah, that's really it.
All right, go ahead, Corey.
Cool, man.
I am at Geometroid on Twitter. We do the tech podcast. We're actually not recording for a couple weeks, so we can catch up to our backlog, which just we don't know how it's happening, but it's getting bigger. I'm also the co-host on Mac's new show, Bucks Classics. And that's on a YouTube. I'm going to be a YouTube sensation. That's going to be awesome. That's it for me.
All right. So thank you for joining us,
Kimber's
guys.
on that like Friday.
Congratulations, Bill. And I guess we'll go to our next callers. Who we have? Delisha and Raul coming in next.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Congrats again, Billy.
Bye now.
So Delisha and then Raul, and then does anybody else want to come in, or then Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get Delisha and Raul, and then Eric alone.
Raul was very insulted about anything slanderous about Sam. That's his dude.
I'm trying to protect Sam. I'm not shaming him.
Well, I did say last week that now that he knows where Dragon Glass is, Sam should just die. But
what? What do you say about Sam?
But he is helping. he is helping Jorah, so I kind of like that too.
This is the Sam that Raul likes, because we know which Sam he doesn't like.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Well, he also likes Samwise Gamgee, doesn't he? So.
Probably. He's a man of exquisite taste. I think he's frozen at the moment.
Yeah, I think Raul's frozen. So we'll get Delisha first. Delisha, hey, Delisha.
Good.
What did you think of the episode, and what do you think of what do you think Theon is going to end up?
Overall episode, I really enjoyed it. This was a lot of great dialogue going on throughout the season. One of my favorites was between Dany and Varys. It was just really good conversation and philosophy with people, and I really enjoyed that. As far as where Theon, I don't know. I do like this whole drowning and being reborn theory. So I kind of like that. And just to say, a lot of people were saying that the reason why Theon didn't protect her was because if he did, she'd die. I mean, I agree with that too, but also just the play on PTSD that they were showcasing throughout that whole scene, the way Alfie just sold it, that's what really resonated for me. Because a lot of people just think it doesn't. A lot of people don't know that it doesn't matter. The trigger for PTSD can be just small, or it could be big. And you never know what's going to trigger that. And he never really, it's not like he was a therapy for it or anything. Everyone's trying to tell him to forget about it, which is something you don't want to do with some mental depression.
She's breaking up. You're breaking up, Delisha.
Sorry?
I said you're breaking up.
Oh.
I think she's frozen now.
Is that recurring horror? Sorry?
I think you're frozen now. Okay, wait, now you're not frozen.
Oh.
Say your last point again. We missed it because you froze.
What was the last thing you heard?
We heard robot, so I don't even know what you're saying.
Oh. I was just saying, I just like that through Alfie's face, you can just see that recurrent horror being relived in his mind, and him just being frozen and not knowing what to do. That was really one of the most profound scenes to me.
For sure.
Raul, what did you feel of the episode, and where do you think Theon's gonna end up?
I really like this episode. Something that when I was watching it, when Daenerys and Lady Olenna, they're talking about how she came from the Targaryens, and also what Cersei says, that all of the armies that she has, and she comes from the Mad King. And then something came in my mind like an analogy, because everybody will gonna fight for the throne. Even at the end, if everybody dies at the end, or they destroy the Night King or everything, at the end, the king or queen that stays in the throne, the cycle again. It's gonna be an endless cycle. That's the thing that I noticed until now, watching Game of Thrones for 3 years.
So what do you think? What do you think Theon's gonna end up?
I think that Theon is gonna save Yara, and he and his uncle, they're gonna die at the same time.
I love Raul's always so optimistic. He's like, he's gonna go save Yara because, you know, but I mean, I know you had the thing where they're both gonna die, so it's kind of poetic at the same time with him and Euron. But the fact that you think he's gonna go save Yara, that's great. Like I don't know. I guess that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's something between Yara and Dany also, and also because there's a theory of going on memes on Game of Thrones. Now they're like responding to a lot of the internet. You can see both these two episodes, so maybe they're gonna give us like a Dany Yara moment this season.
Yeah, maybe. Any last thoughts, or you guys want to plug what you guys have been doing? So I'll start with Alicia first.
Yeah, overall, I'm just looking forward to see how all these characters are going to intersect and meet up, and that's just what I'm just anxious to see, like, where are they taking this story. And I'm just excited for next week. But you can find me on Twitter at Delisha_Renee. That's DELISHA_RENEE. You can find me along with on Aftermath. The next one isn't for a couple weeks, so you can just look for our Twitter on that at after_Matt. And then you can also find me writing articles for OSHAchannel.com on their WordPress site. And then you can also find me calling into all the various shows you guys do.
Thank you, Delisha. What about you, Raul?
I think that the next episode, Littlefinger is gonna try to have sex with Sansa again, and Arya is gonna stop it.
And he takes it to the whole other direction now.
Yeah, that will be my prediction for next episode.
He goes from like a romantic hero to a rapist. So
yes, no, Littlefinger, he wants that throne. He would do anything to get it.
Where can we find you, Raul?
You can find me on Twitter, Raul Bader RDC, and being a guest in a lot of the shows from Tough.
Awesome, cool. Thank you guys for joining us. I think we have one last call in from Eric, right?
Yep. Unless Marco wants to call in.
Marco, did you want to call in, or Nichelle, Marco? I know Nichelle doesn't really call in, but maybe she wants
Marco.
to. Marco.
Sure
Polo.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, Raul.
Have a good night.
Yeah, hold on, Eric. We might get Marco in. I'm not sure, or Nichelle. If not, you're in, buddy. I guess not. You want to call Eric then?
Oh, he's being called right now.
Oh, okay. All right, I think he's in. I see his picture. I don't see him. Oh, he's got the shirt on. I saw the shirt.
Hey, what's
welcome,
up?
Eric. What's going on? Did you enjoy the
Can you hear
episode?
me okay?
The episode.
I love the episode. I thought it was great. I'm loving season 7. I'm loving the tone of it. So I enjoyed it very much. And my favorite part was Euron Greyjoy. Seeing him in action was magnificent. I loved it.
I have to say, when I saw you on another show, on your little Stardust, I took so much umbrage. I felt like Dolores. I took so much umbrage that you had so much hate towards Theon. Like, it was such passionate hate. The anger in your eyes. Yours was a fury there. I saw it. But then, I watched your video that you were going to talk about in a little bit, that you changed your opinion on him. So I was okay. I was okay with that.
Yeah,
I know
the Stardust was
crap.
instant
You take a lot of
reaction.
crap from us about Stannis, so I guess it's fair.
Well, that was like instant 100% reaction. That was like literally right
And
after
Billy
the
had the
episode.
same reaction too.
Then
So
I
yeah.
thought about it, heard other points, and I realized it does make perfect sense, him jumping overboard. So, yep, I can change my mind. Not about Stannis, but about other things.
So your
I can
overall
change my
thought?
mind.
Your overall thought, and where do you think Theon's going to be?
I think he's gonna somehow get back to Dragonstone. I think he's gonna just like pop up. I don't think they were that far from Dragonstone, and I think that's where he's gonna end up.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I really do like Tom's theory though. If he drowns, then he comes. Maybe let Reek drown and Theon come back.
I love that Patchface 2.0. I love that theory. I would love to see that happen.
And I don't mind seeing Gendry just roll by and be like, "Hey, let me just pick this guy up and give him mouth to mouth and resuscitate." That'd be funny too. That's a little. It'll be a joke on a joke that Gendry's still been rolling around forever. That would be kind of fun. Maybe just rolling around Dragonstone in circles.
Then they can
That's what
bait
they-
us in the trailer. They can show them like it looks like they're kissing for 1 millisecond, and we'll think it's a thing, just like the Ilaria and Yara moment. Emphasis on moment.
Raul's getting it on the Stannis jabs, where he thinks that Eric believes that the series finale will end with the Stannis coming out and saying, "I'm still alive, bitches." So I don't
That
know.
would be the perfect finale. I endorse that finale. I totally endorse
In
that
your
finale.
heart of hearts, though, I don't think you would enjoy your flaming heart with a stag in it. Wouldn't enjoy that as the ending of Game of Thrones.
Well, no, not that as being the final thing we see is him alive now.
Marco brings up a
There's
good
other characters I love.
Yeah. Marco says if Theon is at Dragonstone when Jon shows up, it's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Sansa, that he saved Sansa though. Do you think Sansa
That-
told him?
and that he didn't kill Bran and Rickon. Well, I guess no, he has to know that because he saw Rickon die.
Yeah, but will we believe him that he saved Sansa? We don't know, because no one's there with him. Because Brienne's the one that was with him. When that happened.
You can always confirm later though.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, congratulations, Billy, the chat. Just wanted to say congrats, buddy.
Final thoughts on the episode before we get your plug and an announcement that we need to make.
Final thoughts. I thought it was a great episode. I loved everything with Danny, with Euron. I liked both reunions with Arya, but I liked the reunion with Hot Pie a little more. But overall, strong episode, great stuff. And Cal, you're my favorite person tonight because you did say something nice about Stannis. And I appreciate that because it doesn't happen very
I knew
often.
you would. I texted that to you earlier about me doing that. So where can we find you, Eric? Because I know you put up a video today that I watched. I enjoyed.
Yeah, I just did the newest episode. I just did the newest episode of Mine is a Fury. Tom, of course, did the thumbnail for it. Wonderful job, buddy. And you can find that on my YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter at mmkoch200, and let me know what you think.
Don't confuse it with all the other 199 cocks out there. He's Koch 200.
Someone asked me where I got the 200 from once. I said, well, it's because I slept with 200 women.
It's still no patch.
Not true. It's not 200. Not
So
200.
Then it would be cock.
The reason why we
Just the
wanted to
number I
get
picked.
Eric on last is because unfortunately unfortunately I will be away on vacation next week. I'll be going on a cruise, so I won't be around. But the Night's Watch will still live on because as it's done for many generations and many generations, it will live on with Tom and Kimber going on, and they'll have a special fill-in host with Eric Monroe, who's on the video right now. So he will bring his Mine is a Fury Wrath from there to the Night's Watch and join Tom and Kimber next week to discuss the Queen's Justice, right? So, once again, could that be about Cersei? Most likely, but could it also be about Dany? Because if Theon gets back to her, how is she going to feel about losing a fleet? That's how So it's going to be, I wish I could be there to discuss it. Please, I'm letting everyone know now, whoever's watching this, and I'll probably see it on Twitter. I know you're going to make polls and stuff, and you're going to probably tag me and all this kind of stuff. Please don't tag me for the next week, I guess, except for the 30 days of Game of Thrones thing. Just don't tag me anything to do with the actual Sunday's episode until I watch it on Thursday when I get back, because that's probably the first thing I'll do when I get back. But, I have all the confidence in you guys. You guys are huge Game of Thrones fans, and Night's Watch is in good hands. It's like I'm leaving it to Dolores said, with you guys. And
I'm no Cal, but I'm honored to fill in for you. Beyond honored, buddy.
Thank you.
We're voting for you for the new Night.
And if I
promise in the chat, I'm not going to talk about Stannis the whole episode. I understand it's a season 7, episode 3 recap, so don't worry, Billy and Corey and everyone else. You're not going to hear me mention Stannis the entire time. Maybe once or twice.
And just so you know, if it doesn't go well when I get back, when I watch the recap episode, we're going to have them get the pyres ready as well as the gallows ready for you guys. Because that's what happens to traitors in the Night's Watch, right? So.
Yeah, I suck at dying though, so.
That is. We got your plugs in, right? Eric, so I'm going to go to Tom and Kimber. I know tomorrow we have a special episode. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss the next 2 weeks, and you have Monday another special episode. So get into that, guys.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to be watching or doing we also are watching Twin Peaks part 11. I already forgot the name of it, but I guess it's going to be a good episode. I don't know. We haven't watched it yet, but we're going to be doing a recap, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be putting up a link probably tomorrow morning. I haven't made a thumbnail for that because I didn't want spoilers. Last time I found out that Dougie actually went to the doctor, and while I'm excited, I didn't want to know that. It made me feel good.
Monday we have a OSP.
Yeah, and Space Op? No.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Okay, good. That's what I said yesterday. I was hoping it was Doctor Who.
Yes. I don't watch Doctor Who.
Well, even if you don't watch Doctor Who, you can come and just have a good time talking.
Yeah, I'll watch. Oh, yeah, I'll absolutely watch everyone call in. Of course.
See? Look at that.
And then next week, obviously, next Tuesday, we'll have the Night's Watch where you guys will discuss the Queen's Justice with you'll have Tom Kimber and Eric next week. So it's going to be a great episode. And then after that, we have Wednesday, another Twin Peeps, but then I'll be back after that. So hopefully I'm going to catch up on all those episodes of Twin Peeps. I don't know. I'll watch the OSP, but I won't know anything about it because it's Doctor Who. Unfortunately, I've never seen any of it. But I'm going to watch the Night's Watch as well while I'm away. So please, on Sunday, do not tag me in anything or any memes until I get back. I know you guys are going to I got all this right away. I didn't get to watch this week because I was watching the pay-per-view. I got so many texts right at 11 o'clock. And I didn't want to even open the text because I was like, and I had to put it on Facebook. Please stop texting me about Game of Thrones. I haven't watched it yet. So,
tag Cal on everything. Okay.
I will give my journey, my Kingslayer journey, to the Twitter world. I guess to you guys in the chat, the OSP chat, about what's going on. But let's get our social medias up there. So thanks again, Eric, for joining us, and we'll get our social medias.
Absolutely.
Anything else for you guys to plug, Tom and Kimber, or should I put the social media up?
I think that's it for now.
I think the things we're going to plug are on the social media card. So.
Yeah, so, if you have any submissions, I know Heather sent 3 submissions already. If you want to submit emails or anything, submit it to the Night's Watch Tube at gmail.com. You can tweet the Night's Watch at Night's Watch Tube. You can tweet me at Virgin Deja Vu. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I'm at Odd Shape Panel.
I'm at Kimberbatch_OSP.
And you can find other content from Odd Shape Channel at oddshapechannel.com.
And we'd also like to thank Janine for the title card again at Janine Devine, and for the shirt. So if you want to take the black, check out her store. She's got the Night Watch shirts there. Send us a picture of it, and we'll feature you on the show. And I also thank my cousin Streetball for the music at Streeps Music. So check out his site. He's got tons of music you can buy on iTunes and all that. So please check that out. And until next week, we'll see you. Our watch has ended. And we'll see you next week at Queen's Justice. Or I'll see you in 2 weeks, but you'll see them.
Last minute shout out to Dub in the chat.
Oh, Dub's back. Dub, yeah, Dub said he's going to join us. So he was there last night for Aftermath. So thanks for joining us, Dub. and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.